Hi, I'm Tanda, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the energy fields that we're working with. We have Derek here, who's going to help us understand that. When we work with energy fields, we are trying to connect ourselves with the different energy that has to do with the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. All of these aspects relate to how we move through life, how we have health on the physical level, how we have health emotionally, how we are balanced mentally, how we connect spiritually. When we have the relationship of the fields of energy, some learnings talk about how the fields translate into what they call the subtle bodies. Subtle bodies, there are many esoteric ideas about subtle bodies, many esoteric ways of describing it, but simply put, it's just different energy. It's a higher level, a rate of vibration of energy. So when something is imbalanced energetically, let's say spiritually, then it will translate down to a way of thinking or feeling, or somehow a physical relationship with some kind of symptom or anomaly or sometimes pain. So when you work with breathing in terms of guided meditation, we're breathing to stay connected to the physical body, but we are actually meditating and allowing ourselves to expand into the more subtle bodies. You have this experience when we meditate in guided meditation. Sometimes when we're meditating with guided meditation, we're following a little bit of a theme or a construct or a meditation that talks about the chakras, about the bodies, about the relationships of energy. But essentially, when you connect with that part of you that is meditating and shifts into an altered space, you sometimes are open to different vision or picture or experience or memories or just feeling. If you have a block in your body, you feel like, oh my God, I'm holding a lot of energy in my stomach. Rather than taking a Pepto-Bismol or something like that, maybe work with the energy by allowing it, by accepting it, by being with it. So if we want to meditate, let's just see with Derek for a minute. If you were going to work with, let's say, any symptom you have today, what would there be physically? How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Maybe my energy is not as high as it normally is.
Okay. So we could have a transference or transmission of energy, which is from one person to another. This is not so much my energy to his, but my energy, in a sense, combining or working with his. Again, the field of resonance. So we both connect. And now I'm going to take my hand away, and he's going to breathe into his own energy and just feel how that resonance or that connection with the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body can harmonize or work or vibrate together. That would be the field of energy. The field of energy is what we want to develop a relationship of balance with. If there's an imbalance on a higher level, it will trickle down to the lower level, to lower level, to lower level, and then to the physical. Okay, can you please open your eyes? How does it feel?
Good. It's almost like they immediately go up my spine.
So when he said it goes up the spine, it's not like a shock or impulses going up his spine. They say in yoga and meditation, there's a kundalini energy, which is 3.5 times curled at the base of the spine, sometimes symbolized like a serpent or a snake. So they call it serpent energy. That's what is a mystical symbol of the energy moving up at the base of the spine, up through the back, to the different chakras. And sometimes when that energy is blocked, if, for instance, as it moves up, if you take your hand, Derek, and just place it like this, and now move it up, and you'll feel. Now stop right there. How does that feel there?
In my physical body, I feel it's almost like a numb a little bit.
Numbness, okay.
Yeah.
So now if we want to work with that, if you focus, if you close your eyes, you put your hand down, just you focus on that part of the body, and we want to breathe into the solar plexus. We want to move not only from the physical sense of the symptom of feeling a little bit frozen or paralyzed or unmoving. Then perhaps we go to the emotional level of energy and think or relate what is unmoving within me emotionally, what emotionally is held back or withheld. Going from there, we go to the more mental level of energy. How is my thinking, in some sense, holding me back, keeping me contracted, feeling paralyzed in terms of thinking about how I'm stuck or can't move? Then we want to go to the higher level of energy, which is the spiritual. Spiritually, what confusion, distortion, way of believing life is that has to do with, in some sense, always having to hold myself back or down because perhaps I don't trust what is within me. So working with that energy, visually, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, just being with it, not fighting it, not questioning it, not analyzing it, but being with the cells, being with the emotions, being with the thoughts, being with the spirit. Just being with it allows a shift from, in a sense, being stuck or receiving a kind of negative relationship with the field of energy, being able to move into a more neutral place, and that consciousness allows something to change. Okay, please relax and please open your eyes. How does it feel? Any?
Definitely better. Yeah, there's movement here. It's funny, there was a physical pain that I felt too when I focused on it.
So physical pain, usually the higher level of energy, the field, is where there's imbalance, so it's emotional. So emotionally, it doesn't have to be, oh, I was feeling this or that, but just being with what you're feeling shifts the imbalance of energy into more balance, just by the consciousness of it.
And so, like, when you say go and breathe into that area, we're sitting with it. We're not trying to.
You're not trying to
move it.
bust it or change it or provoke it or repress it or ignore it or settle it. You're being with it. Being with something, changing the relationship with anything, changes the energy. Einstein said everything is energy. Everything. We are, the universe, life force, everything is energy. And when we ignore or imbalance, we put more focus on one energy than another, it creates an imbalance. Because we're physical beings, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, we feel it on some level. So when we're conscious of the part of us that we ignore, we repress, we're afraid of, we're unconscious, it has less power to be negative, to bring us down, to cause illness, to cause disease, to cause problems, to cause pain, because pain is like signing something, then it shifts into being able to balance it out. The universe's thrust is harmony. Again, as above, so below, as below, so above. But the harmony has to constantly be moving. There has to constantly be a flow. And when you're stuck with pain, with emotional overthinking, with emotional contraction, with the mind being compulsive, with the spirit in some sense believing all of this is for nothing, it translates into a blockage of energy. You're not in the flow of the universe. If we look at, and I hope I pronounced this right, Avalokitesvara, the god of compassion, which is the god of Tibet, translate into Kuan Yin as well, goddess of compassion. There are many hands, many heads, many beings. The demon is on top, and the being is at the very top. So when there's an imbalance in the Avalokitesvara, in us, in our field of energy, when one of the heads tries to be boss of the other heads, everything tips, everything gets out of balance. Often the second top one, the demon, takes over and wants to run the show. Demon could be another word for the ego, for the mind. So when you balance the energy, when you allow the energy, you don't fight with the demon, you allow everything to find its place by stillness. When you are still and at peace, everything goes back into balance. When you overthink it, when you poke it, when you prod it, when you take too many pills, when you do too much to move it consciously, the unconscious takes over and resists. But when you harmonize with the energy and allow stillness that comes from peace, everything clicks back into balance.
I love that.
I love it too. I think that probably is enough for today, unless you have another question.
No, I feel like that pretty much says it all.
It says a lot. It says it all. The breathing in terms of the let's actually, shall we have a little exercise in the relaxation breathing?
Sure.
Okay, maybe we'll do that. So I wanted to show you a little mini class on relaxation breathing. Many people do just relaxation breathing to relax or calm anxiety or panic. Derek is going to do some relaxation breathing with us today that we can do along with guided meditation. And it also has to do with the chakras. The chakras are 7 chakras. There's the root chakra, spleen chakra, yes, thank you, solar plexus chakra, heart chakra, throat, third eye, crown, and the hypothetical 8th chakra, often called soul, oversoul, or star chakra. Now, the chakras are not little buttons of energy that you push and have a reaction or a relationship with it. They're basically described as turning wheels of energy, that if they're turning correctly, are turning in a clockwise motion. If they're turning against or negatively or not promoting the most powerful flow, the flow is blocked, they're turning counterclockwise. So if we breathe into the chakra, breathe into the root chakra, which is a couple of inches above the genital area, and breathe and hold the breath, contract that whole area, and relax. And then once again, we're going to breathe into the root chakra, hold the breath, contract, and relax. And now let's breathe up from the feet to the root. Breathe up. You can visualize a little light from the feet to the root. Contract, hold the breath, and release. And one more time, let's breathe up from the feet to the root. Contract, hold the breath, and release. And from here, now we're going to raise the energy from the feet to the root to the spleen. We're going to breathe up, feet, root, spleen, contract. You can do it along with us. Hold the breath, and release. Once again, we're going to breathe up from the feet to the root to the spleen. Contract, hold the breath, and release. And one more time, we're going to breathe up from the feet to the root, to the spleen. Contract, hold the breath. And release. And let's go up from the feet to the root, to the spleen, to the solar plexus. And visualize yellow, which is the color of the solar plexus. Contract, hold the breath. And release. And once again, please breathe up from the feet to the root, to the spleen, to the solar plexus. Contract, hold the breath. And release. And one more time, please breathe up from the feet to the root, to the spleen, to the solar plexus. Contract, hold the breath, and release. And let's just go up to the heart. Breathe up from the feet to the root, to the spleen, to the solar plexus, to the heart. Contract, hold the breath, and release. And one more time, please breathe up from the feet to the root, to the spleen, to the solar plexus, to the heart. Contract, hold the breath, and release. And one more time, let's breathe up from the feet to the root, to the spleen, to the solar plexus, to the heart. Contract, hold the breath, and release. If we put both hands on the heart, since the solar plexus was the part that was causing some problem, and just allow the energy, what is above the problem, not only physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, but also with the chakra. The problem was in the solar plexus. We want to move the energy and have a certain relationship with the resonance of the heart. Even the breathing shifts. Everything slows down, relaxes, releases, lets go. So whatever is holding in terms of fear, agitation, anger, anxiety, can in some sense expand, relate, move into a different relationship with the energy field all around Derek. From that balance, hopefully comes more peace, in that he doesn't have to react to that stomach ache or stomach problem or discomfort. And from that balance and peace can come stillness, and everything can reset. Thank you so much. Thank you, Derek. How does it feel?
Really good. Calm.
All of that was just a little breathing.
Yeah. Focus and intention, isn't it?
Focus and intention changes everything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.